Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to BBallBreakdown. I am crazy insane psyched to share with you my breakdown of Karl Anthony Towns, a name that you should know if you don't already because he could very well go down as the greatest three-name player we've had since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And when I think about really great plays, it reminds me of SeatGeek because their app is fantastic for finding seats to all the events that you want to go to. They suck in the prices from all over the internet and rate them so you know if it's a good deal, and you get a nice vantage point picture from where the seat is to know if you want to sit there. So I know you've heard about SeatGeek across the board on all these different podcasts and videos and whatnot, but I want you to use my code because that helps me out. So if you can use BBall, you want to go into settings on your app and there's a place to put the promo code in, type it in there, it accepts it, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase, and you don't want to screw that one up, so I just help you get there. So it's that simple. Just enter the promo code in that settings part where I showed you and help me help you help me. Well, let's not waste any more time getting to our Karl Anthony Towns breakdown because it's really impressive stuff. I know you're going to love it, and here it is. You in? When looking at the rookie season of Karl Anthony Towns, it's important to understand the context of his production from a historical aspect. Here are his per-game numbers so far during his rookie year. These all look good, but when you look back at who had comparable numbers in points, rebounds, blocks, and assists, you realize what kind of rarefied air he's in. And when you factor in that he's the second youngest on this list, there's no reason to believe he won't be among the elite players in the league when he hangs up his shoes for good. Let's dig into the on-off numbers to see what type of effect he's had on a team that has languished well below 500 for most of the season. His net rating, while negative, is still better than the team's overall net rating and almost 2 points better than when he's off the court. Towns relies most on the pick and roll game to get his offense. He uses 25.1% of his possessions as the roll man and ranks a bit below average. One issue I see is that while it's great to want to shoot with your offhand, his footwork and balance put him in tough situations where he cannot finish at the rim. He also looks to avoid contact too often, which is another reason that gets him way off balance and unsure of which moves to use. Once he begins to polish his step-through moves so his feet don't get so wide apart and he can explode more upwards than outwards, he'll be able to find more success through quickness and decisiveness. This is also related to body strength, particularly lower body. Once he naturally develops more core and glute power, these plays will disappear. But let's get to the good stuff as the roll man, shall we? The first thing that jumps out at me is his ability to space the floor with a pick and pop. And if you had to compare him to someone, you think Kevin Garnett, who had a different type of release but similar type of results. Towns couldn't jump over a newspaper with the kind of lift he gets on his jump shots, but he doesn't need to, considering how tall he is and how easy it is to replicate his shot mechanics. He shoots way above average in the mid-range game and takes way more shots than your typical center from out there. Once his defender knows he needs to contest these shots, he's got enough skill to put the ball on the ground and enough quickness to beat any normal big man to the hole with a variety of creative shots that sometimes make him look like a 6'4" guard. As he continues to develop, a Rubio-Towns pick and roll pairing should be one of the most lethal combos in the league for years to come. The post-up is the second most common way Towns gets his offense, and he's ranked a very respectable 76th percentile. When he's able to post up on non-traditional centers, he's found a reliable right-handed jump hook that he can get off with his quick spin and good jumping ability, displaying great touch. If it's a banger on him, the face-up game is his best option, and it's clear it's his quickness is what's found him the most success down low on the block. But he does seem to struggle with physicality, and this again goes back to his need to improve core and leg strength to handle the subtle little pushes and jabs. But until he gets more experience against the bruisers in the league, he seems too content to shy away from contact and toss up difficult fadeaways, the kind of shots you need good elevation on, of which he doesn't get. He can't bail the defense out with over-the-shoulder fadeaways and would be wise to develop one or two more moves towards the middle of the paint that would then set up his turnaround fadeaways later. What makes Karl Anthony Towns so special is his ability to spot up on the perimeter, and it's the chief reason I don't call him a center. Trailing the offense and getting a catch out top used to mean the center would simply swing the ball and get the offense moving. For Towns, it's a means to an end and could very well end the possibility of guarding him with any sort of traditional big man. No normal center will be able to handle the kind of things he can do from the outside, whether it's a shooting from long two and the occasional three, using a good jab step game to threaten the drive to create more space for the jumper, or even on the weak side of a pick and roll, lifting to spot up, a position that is normally reserved for only shooting guards and small forwards. If your center can do this, it brings the opponent's big out of the lane as well, and this will just help everybody on the Timberwolves roster. He's not just relegated to running to screen the ball each time, and that makes him a much tougher cover. And when he isolates and makes shots like this, the opposing teams will have no idea who to put on him. And when Minnesota can send cutters around him, he's got the ability to get to the basket and show off really good touch. Another area that he's ranked average in surprised me: transition. From what I've seen, he's been a real force and someone the opposing team will have to put a faster player on, since he runs faster than most other 6'11 big men can run. He can also outrun guards on the break, and I fully expect his transition opportunities to increase, as it gives his team an enormous advantage. And when he starts grabbing the board and taking off down court on the dribble, oh man, this is just too scary. Let's talk defense for a second, as he ranks 10th in the league among centers in field goal percentage at the rim. And it's no surprise he's that high when you see his natural ability and lateral quickness combined with long arms. He has a knack for being in the right place at the right time and can block the ball out of your hand or time it right and knock it out of the air before the ball starts its downward trajectory. I think his good spatial awareness will eventually lead to more steals, and look at what he can do once he snatches that ball. There are virtually no centers that can do this coast to coast. And we've started to see evidence of his ability to keep guards in front of him and either get them to give the ball up or pressure them into misses. If this becomes a thing, look out. We'd be looking at the best player in the NBA. It's crazy when you keep saying to yourself, this guy is 6'11". So there you have it, sports fans. Karl Anthony Towns is well on his way to establishing himself as one of the best young talents we've seen since Tim Duncan. Is he farther along than Anthony Davis was at this point? I certainly think so, and I'm excited to see what direction this young Timberwolves team takes. Who knows, in a few years, we could be seeing them matching up with Denver in the Western Conference Finals.